going to do a jump board class. You're going to need your Pilates ball as well as a knee pad if it bothers you to be down on your knee. First, we're going to start with one red spring on the reformer. Your headrest can be up or down, totally up to you. And we're going to go ahead and lay on down. I'm going to place the ball between my inner thighs, and I want my heels grounded on the jump board, and I don't want my shoulders in my shoulder pads, so scoot down a little bit. So in order for me to get my heels completely flat, I am pushed away a little bit and just feeling the length of the spine pressing into the mat and the feet completely grounded. You want your feet, your butt bone distance, so don't let your feet be wider because we want to connect with those inner thighs. As we begin to drive through the heels, straightening the legs, we're going to curl all the way up to seated. And then as we bend those knees, we're going to articulate the spine down one bone at a time. Inhaling at the bottom. Exhale, driving through those heels, curling through the spine, lifting up tall. And then melting down one bone at a time. And you get shoved up into the shoulder pads, so you do have to make little adjustments as you're going through this. Feeling those inner thighs squeezing into the ball. And one more time, we're going to curl all the way up and then roll about halfway down to the points of those shoulder blades and squeeze and release the ball. Squeeze. Focusing on those upper inner thighs. And lower it all the way down. So I'm going to place the ball behind my right knee. My right leg's going to stay at tabletop. I'm pressing down through the back of the arms and shoulders, and we're going to jump with the left leg. Jump, land, toe ball, heel. Jump, land, toe ball, heel. Feel the length of your thigh extending through the hip, the knee, reaching through the toes. Paying attention to the length of the leg as you jump and you're floating out here. It's long and strong, connecting with your core. We're going to add on a tap down of the right leg as we jump. Tap and land. Tap and land. So it's not a huge range of motion. We're just allowing the knee to hinge away from us. And rest. Take the hands behind the head. Make sure you have room for those arms to go around your shoulder pad. Your right leg still at tabletop. This time when we jump, we're going to curl and twist to the right. So we're jumping and twisting, land with control. Focus on that left rib crossing up and over towards your right hip. And release it down. Let's place the left leg with the ball behind the knee. Right leg is on the board. Jumping. Holding that left leg at tabletop. Landing toe ball heel with this right thigh. Pressing down through the back of the arms and shoulders. Adding on the hinge of your left leg, and my right leg likes to kick up as I hinge my left leg down. landing, drawing your hands behind the head. As we jump, we're curling and twisting towards that left leg. Jump and twist. No. Last two. Last one. And land. Let's place that ball between those upper inner thighs again. Both feet are parallel on the board, and we're jumping. Feeling how those inner thighs squeeze into the ball as we jump. Extending through the hips, connecting with your core. Pressing down through the back of the arms and shoulders. Curling head and chest up, continuing to jump. Land, drawing the ball between your inner ankle bones so that you can find Pilates V feet. So heels together against the ball, toes and knees are turned out, jumping. You can feel this little unevenness with those legs. This is where those inner thighs kick in to really hold that ball. Curling head and chest up. Feel that zipping and wrapping of the thighs. And land. This one's a little awkward. We're gonna place our feet parallel. And I want majority of the ball, hopefully you can see this, pushing out the back side. So the inner blades of my feet, I'm not trying to turn in and hold it with the base of my feet, but those inner arches. And then I'm gonna place the ball against the board. And I'm driving through the legs, not jumping, extending all the way out. Find the length of the spine. Control as you bring that all the way back in. Press and reach, slow and control. So your feet are not on the board. The ball is on the board. And we're really connecting with the whole thigh muscles, like inner thighs, mostly quads, resisting with those hamstrings as we come in. Keeping those feet flexed, inner arches squeezing in on the ball. Pressing down through the back of the arms, upper mid-back, connecting with those postural muscles. We've got two more. One last time. And all the way back in. Let's grab that ball and carefully rock on up to seated. So we're gonna add another red spring on. So now we've got 2 reds total, and we're gonna lay down and place this ball underneath our pelvis. So again, you can have your head rest up or down. When my hips are lifted, I like my head rest flat. It does feel a little weird at first, but I feel like that's less pressure on your neck. And then we're gonna go ahead and grab those straps behind us. Your shoulders are in the shoulder pads, but we don't want them shoved up into the shoulder pads. Keep your tail heavy into the ball, floating those knees up to tabletop. We're gonna go into arm circles. So we're reaching down into the sides and circling around. Following the breath as you exhale down, inhaling around. keeping the pelvis heavy on the ball, keeping those legs nice and steady. At the top of this one, we're going to reverse that direction, sweeping into the body, up to the sky. Exhaling in, inhaling as you reach up. Focusing on that flow of breath, finding the lungs, inhaling and expanding, and then feeling as though you're exhaling all that breath past the navel, connecting with your trunk, connecting with your core. On this last one, we're going to hold our arms down long into the sides, reaching long. Single leg stretch. Extend one leg and the other. Keep your chin pointing up to the sky so you connect with those upper and lower abs. Two more. Last one. Bringing both knees in as both legs extend. Open those arms out wide. Make a T. Pull everything back in together. Extend the legs. Reach with the arms. Control it back in. Feel the front of the hip crease opening up, softening that hip crease so you connect deeper into those pelvic floor muscles. Last one. Bring it in and rest your feet down on the board. Go ahead and hang up your straps and remove that ball from underneath you, carefully rocking up to seated. So we're going to leave our ball off to the side and we're going to change down to just a blue spring. So I want to sit towards the front edge of the mat, and that's just to keep our feet grounded as we go into this next exercise. I also want to sit either to the middle, closer towards the foot bar side. We don't want to be too close to the shoulder pads because we won't get enough resistance. So you're going to grab your right strap. You're going to loop the right elbow into the strap and then hold your hands out in front of you. So you should be pulled away from the bumper with resistance underneath you. If you want more resistance, you'll scoot further to the left. So tipping the tail under, begin to round back, keeping your feet heavy. Pause here, breathing in, and then exhaling as you round back up to seated. Inhaling at the top, exhaling as you curl the tail under, rolling behind the bottom. Pause and breathe in. Exhale, ribs flex you forward, curling up to seated. For 3. Upper abs curl you back up. 2, rounding under. And ribs flex into the hips, curling you up. This last one, we're gonna go back and we're gonna stay back there, holding here. Without moving the carriage, lift those arms, lower the arms. Exhaling up and down. For 3, deep scoop in that belly. For 2, and 1. Use your abdominals to curl you to seated. Take a deep breath in at the top. Exhale, rolling back one more time. Float the left thigh to tabletop. Tap it down. Lift the thigh. Lower. Exhale. 2 more. Exhale. This one we're going to stay here with the leg up. Just those arms again. Lift and lower the arms. Lift and lower. For 3, shoulders down, ribs down. For 2, deep into those obliques. Last one. And then curl back up to seated. Take a deep breath in at the top. Exhale as you roll under the tail, rounding back. Right thigh this time flexes up and taps down. 2, relax those shoulders. 3, 4, one more. Stay here, just those arms. Lift and lower. 2, lift and lower. Exhale. 3, 4, one more. Lower and curl back up to seated. Feeling those obliques, we got one more level. Curl underneath the tail, rolling back. Float one leg up to tabletop. Make sure your foot's level with your knee. Lift the other leg to meet it. Both those arms, lift and lower. Keep those ribs forward. Gaze down at your thighs to keep that rounded spine. 2, one more. Up, down, and curl back to seated. Whew, definitely felt that right oblique. Let's change down to just a single red spring, no other color. Headrest is flat, and we're gonna sit facing through the back here. You're gonna take both of your straps and thread both of your elbows into the loops of those straps. First, we're sitting nice and tall. We don't want our shoulders back because it pops those ribs, and right now I feel that in my mid-back. So keep your ribs forward, shoulders back into their pockets, and just the arms open out to the sides and close them in front of you. Exhale as you pull, inhale as you close. Moving from those upper arm bones. Trying not to pop those ribs or move from the chest, just the arm bone. Last 2. On this last one, I want you to hold those arms back there. We're going to extend the arms and bend those arms. Holding this isometric contraction in those back muscles, upper postural muscles. Make sure that you're sitting nice and tall over those hips as you reach out and bend in. 2 more. Hold it long here. Relax the top of the shoulders, ribs are forward. Your arms come forward from the shoulders a little bit, pull them back. Forward a little bit, pull back. So we're just moving those arm bones. Remember, we're not trying to pop the ribs or pop the chest. Really isolating those upper back muscles. My thumbs are up, my palms are forward. So really connect with the back. For 3, 2, hold it here. Circle those arms back. 2, 3. Sitting nice and tall. 8, let's reverse it. Forward. 7 and 8. Release. I definitely felt those upper back muscles, so hopefully you did too. We're going to do that ab series on the other side. So remember, we were down on a blue spring. We're going to take that red spring off. So let's turn around and face the other direction. Sitting again to the front edge of your mat. And this time it's the left elbow that gets the strap. Hands in front of you. You're pulled away from your spring tension. Take a deep breath in. Exhale as the pelvis tilts back and you're rolling behind the tailbone. Take a deep breath in. Ribs flex forward. Upper abs curl you back to seated. Inhaling at the top. Exhale, the tail curls under. We begin to roll back. Pause here. Breathing in. Let go of those glutes and move through the ribs and curl back up to seated. 3 more like this. Inhaling while you're back there. Exhale, those ribs flex forward, curling back up. 2, rounding down, rolling back. Pause and breathe in. Ribs curl and flex back to seated. 1 more time, curling under the tail. We're going to stay back there in that C curve. And the arms lift and lower for 5. Exhale up. For 4, reach. For 3, lift. For 2, one last time, those arms lift, they lower, and we curl back up to seated. Take a deep breath in at the top. Exhale, we curl under the tail. This time that right thigh flexes up and tap it down. For 5, lift from the thigh, lower. Exhale for 3, deepening the scoop into those abs. Good, hold the leg here, just those arms. Lift for 5. Exhale for 4. Ribs are heavy for 3. Shoulders down for 2. One last time, we lift and we curl all the way back up to seated. Take a deep breath in at the top. Exhale, we roll under the tail, we round back, and the left thigh floats up and taps down. Exhale, lift and lower for 3, 2, keep the leg lifted and hold just those arms. Reach and release, up and down for 3, 2, 1, and we curl all the way to seated. One last variation, rolling under the tail, rounding back. One leg floats up, the other leg floats up to meet it. Both arms lift for 5. Exhale for 4. Stay strong. Last 2. Last 1. And release, curling your way back to seated. Let's hang up your straps. I'm going to lift my headrest up, and I'm going to add another red spring. So we have 1 red, 1 blue spring on the carriage. Go ahead and lay on down, head in your headrest. We're going to do what I call slalom skiing. So we're going to start with our knees and toes turned off to the right. My left hip does pull away from the mat a little bit so that I feel this wrapping of my obliques, pressing down through the back of the arms and shoulders. And I'm going to jump on this right side, landing toe ball heel. Nine and 10, switch sides, jump. Nine and 10, switch sides, this is 8. 3, 2, 1, switch sides for 8. 3, 2, 1, switch sides, this is 6. 2, 1 for 6. 6, this is 4. 4, switch. 3, 4, switch. 2, switch. 2, singles for 10. 9. 4, 3, 2, last round each side, and rest. Definitely got those thighs burning a little bit. Carefully rock on up to seated. I'm going to drop my blue, so I just have 1 red spring. And I'm going to kneel facing the jump board. So feet can be against the shoulder pads, and your hands are going to be on the foot bar. We're thinking of down stretch. So my heart's forward, my chest is forward, my hips are forward. And I'm going to push the carriage away. Keep my gaze up as I drop the hips down. And then lift the hips, the heart, as you come in. Pushing away, dropping those hips into the springs, lifting forward and up. Feeling the front side body thrusting forward, Opening that front side body. 2 more. Last one. All the way back in. Good. We're going to change to just a yellow spring. Drop your red spring. So this one is a lot about balance and stability. So we're jumping from the foot bar. So want to make sure that your feet are in the right spot, that your knees don't bother you, so you can have your feet flat like I do. You have your toes turned up. You can have your feet together, feet apart, whatever works best for you. So the first part, keep your gaze out. We don't want to look down. I say this all the time, when you look down, you go down. So gaze being out in front of you will help with your balance. So my hands are on the jump board, and I'm hinged about halfway back towards my heels. And I'm going to jump, and as I jump, I'm lifting up and landing. Jump, lift, and land. So I'm thrusting my hips forward. Two more. Last one. And land. We're going to add a rotation. We're going to alternate those sides. So as you jump, twist, land, jump, rotate, and land. So those hips hinging forward and back are working those thighs, working those hamstrings, quads, a little bit of your glutes. And we're definitely working that core for balance. Last one. And land. Good job. All right. So I'm going to change back down to just a blue spring. So dropping that yellow, I'm going to put my knee pad against those shoulder pads. So I'm going to draw my right knee down, and my left foot is on the floor, and my toes are turned out. My leg is long. So shoulders, ribs, and hips are square forward. And from the center of my body, I'm pushing away and going into a split stretch, thinking of my pelvis sinking down through my thighs. And then I'm finding those inner thighs as I squeeze back in, sinking down into that split stretch, opening up, and then controlling with those inner thighs back together. Staying nice and tall, trying again not to look down, but look straight out in front of you. This is one of those moves where it's sneaky. It feels easy at first, but as we go through these different repetitions, you'll start to feel those thighs quivering a little bit. We're going to stay over to the right. Now I'm going to focus on my left thigh, and I'm going to bend it in, pointing towards my toes with my knee, and then I'm pushing out long, bending towards my toes, and press. For 3, out, 4, reach. Staying nice and tall in the spine. We've got 3 more. Feeling those inner thighs. For 2, stay low here. So my hips are low. I'm going to drop my left forearm onto my thigh and side flex, stretching up and over. Rise the spine back up. Now push that leg out long. Sink down into the thigh. Stretch and reach up and over. Rise back up. Push. Pulling in for 3. And press. Pull it in for 2. Press away. Last one. Sink low, reach up and over. Stay low in your thighs, but lift up your spine to a tall spine. And we're sinking down and up, down and up. This one makes you quiver. 4, 5, 6, 7, one more, 8, and rest. Ooh,
shaky legs. All right, so if you know me, we don't go right over to the other side. So we're gonna stay on this blue spring tension. We're gonna go ahead, flatten the headrest, and sit with those legs through the headrest facing the back. Just like we did earlier, we're gonna loop up those elbows, but this time we're gonna do like a little genie arm with those arms. This strap's not great. There we go. Neither of them are. Okay. All right, so the further back you are, the more resistance you're gonna have. Take a deep breath in. You're gonna curl that tail under. We're gonna round behind the bottom. C curve, drawing back. Ribs flex you forward, curling through the spine, back to seated. Take a deep breath in. Tail curls under, rolling behind the bottom. Pause here, breathing in. Ribs flex forward, rounding back up to seated. For 3, ribs flex you forward, rolling through the spine. 2, curling under, relax those glutes as you roll back, and those ribs curl into the hips, back to seated. This last one, we're gonna stay back there in that C curve. Relax the shoulders, relax the glutes. Forearms to forehead, they lift and lower, lift and lower. 3, and curl all the way up to seated. This time, take those hands behind the head. Elbow points are slightly forward to keep the top shoulders relaxed. Sit nice and tall, and we're moving from the hips, leaning straight back with a flat back, lifting from those lower abs to lift you to seated. Hinging from those hip bones, leaning straight back, gaze follows you. Exhaling as we lift back up. Thinking of a long line growing out of the waistline, lengthening out of the spine. You'll start to feel those shakes and quivers in your belly as you hinge. 2 more. 1 last time. Lean with a flat back. Exhale, lift back up tall. We're gonna add those 2 together. So flat back, lean, chin to chest, curl through the spine forward. Sit tall, flat back, lean, chin to chest, curl through the spine forward. For 3, exhaling to round. For 2, lean, chin to chest, and curl. 1 last time, hinging straight back, rounding your way back to seated. We're gonna keep this C curve. We're gonna round back. Lengthen out the spine with a flat back, rise up. Curling under, roll behind the tail, lift the heart, rise up. For 3, rounding back, and rise all the way up. For 2, curling under the tail, heart lifts as you lift. 1 more time, roll behind the bottom, lift the heart, and rise all the way up to seated. Let's hang up those straps. We're staying on that blue spring. If you needed a knee pad for that kneeling series, go ahead and grab it again. So the left knee is down on this one, and that right leg is out long. Toes are turned out, and make sure your leg is not up against the frame. First is those split stretches, going out to the side, sinking down through your pelvis, inner thighs pulling you back in. Out to the sides, tall spine, inner thighs drag you in. Keeping that gaze up so the spine stays up tall. If we start to hinge forward, it feels much different in those hips. We're trying to stretch through the hips and work through them at the same time. 2 more. On this last one, we're going to stay over to the left. I'm going to focus on my right leg, and I'm bending it in, and then I'm pushing it straight. Right leg bends, Right leg straightens. Starting to notice the difference from right to left side. One side might feel a little bit easier than the other. Very common. We are dominant on one side more than the other. We're gonna bend in and hold. Drop the forearms, stretch and reach all the way over. Rise back up, pushing this leg straight. Bend the leg in. Drop the forearms, stretch and reach. Rise back up, extend. For 3, stretch and reach over. And press, staying low. For 2, stretch and reach over. And press. One last time. Stay low in the hips. Last reach through the spine. Grow tall at the top. Stay here and pulse it out. Sinking deeper. The carriage does move. For 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 more. 7. Last one. 8. And release. Whew. I don't know about you, but that definitely gets my legs. So we're going to add a red on. So you have 2 springs, 1 red, 1 blue. And let's go ahead and grab our boxes. Trying to make this a full body workout as best as we can. So our boxes are gonna go on the long way. So go ahead and lay on your box facing your jump board. My head for me is slightly over because I want my back fully supported. My fingers are pointing straight up. I'm gonna push away until the top of my head is on my board. My elbows are pointing down. My legs are long and close together. Pushing away, keep the hands fully on the board, dropping your elbows as your head comes into the board. Press and bend, feeling the back of the ribs and shoulders doing the work. Keeping those shoulders drawing back and down into their pockets. Last 3, last 2, last 1. Bring it in. Turn your fingers in slightly, elbows slightly turned out. Shoulders back and down, hands fully supported as you press and bend. Feeling this in those triceps. For 3, 2, 1. Bring it all the way back in. Let's drop your blues. You just have 1 single red spring. Pointing those fingers back up to the sky. On this round, we're jumping. So keep those legs long and close together so you don't hit the risers behind you. And jump. One more. Land. Fingers slightly turn in. Legs actively reaching long. And we're jumping. Three, 2, 1. Land. So now we're gonna do 5 rounds, alternating fingers high to fingers turned in, okay? So fingers are pointing up, jump, land turned in, jump. Fingers up, jump, turned in, jump. Good. Keep going. As you alternate, you're feeling those elbows dropping down, feeling those elbows going wide. 3, 2, working those back muscles, last round. And land. Whew, definitely felt that one. My hands are gonna go on the top corners of the board. I'm gonna push away, pressing down through the back of the arms and shoulders. Start to lift up into swan. growing up through the crown of the head, checking in with those glutes, let them go. And then lengthen yourselves back over the box. Inhaling as we lift up, reaching up through the crown of the head, shoulders back and down. Exhaling as we lengthen all the way back over the box. Root down as we rise up, growing through the crown of the head to lift us, and lengthen all the way back out. 2 more. Rising up and lowering with control. 1 more. Lifting the heart up and lower all the way back down. Bend your arms, bring it in. Carefully come on top of the box and do a few cat and cows. Arch the spine and arch, open tail and head. Rounding, curling under, lifting the heart, the tail. 2 more. Last round. And release. Let's carefully step on down. We're going to remove our boxes and we're going to get ready for our feet in straps. So we'll be on 2 red springs. And go ahead and lay on down. Pushing the foot bar away, hooking up one foot and the other foot. Long legs. Tails heavy as we stretch those legs up to the sky. And exhale as we lower those legs out and down. Inhaling as the legs fold and stretch. Bottom stays grounded. Pressing through the back of the legs, hamstrings to lower. Lifting for 3. Exhaling to press. Rising up. Feeling the flow of your breath filling up the lungs. And exhaling all that air out past the navel. 2 more. One more. Lowering down to your point of control, frog leg. Bend at the hips. Exhale, reach and wrap. Pressing down through the back of those arms and shoulders. Focusing on moving from the hips, not your feet. So right where the leg and hip socket attach. So that's where your most dominant, where your stronger muscles are, right? Closer to your core, your trunk. Press all the way out, long, circle those legs all the way around. Big circles, stretching to all sides of the room. One more in this direction. At the top, we'll pause and reverse it. Finding the back of the thighs as we draw down and together. Stretching through those inner thighs. One more. Drawing those legs up to the sky. Gently pulling down on those straps. Feeling that draw up the back side of the body into the hamstrings, the lower back. So normally I finish with feet in straps, but I have one last little thing that I want to do. It's those abs just a little bit more. So we're gonna change down to just a blue spring. Sorry, Bear, not yet, buddy. Go on. So this is one of our lightest springs. And so let's first just jump and get used to this light spring tension so that we're not dominating through the legs. We're focusing on pressing down through the back of those arms and shoulders, really feeling that core kick in as we're floating out here. Just kind of getting used to the fact that the legs are not dominating this move. We're gonna land and hold it at the bottom. Curl the head and chest up, lifting those arms up to the sky. Keep your head lifted as you jump, the arms lower. As you land, the arms lift. Jump and land. Focusing between the thighs or on the belly. One more time, jump and land. This next round you have the option of keeping your head lifted or down. Your right leg is gonna be on the board, left leg's gonna go to tabletop, head and chest can curl up. Jump, switch, land left. Jump, switch, land right. Paying attention to this floating, this reaching long through the thighs so you feel this deep connection into your obliques, your waistline. Two more rounds. Staying lifted, stay strong. Last set, each side. And rest. So we were out here floating a good amount of time. So this next move is the same leg series, but we're adding in rotation. So hands are gonna go behind the head. Make sure that your arms are well fitted in between those shoulder pads. Right leg's on the board, left leg's at tabletop. I'm gonna curl my upper abs and rotate across towards the left leg. I'm gonna jump, switch, land, jump, switch, land. Crossing up and over with your opposite rib towards your opposite hip, as though you're making an X across your belly button, and that belly button is the center of your X. Last round each side. And rest. Good. So this next one is a tuck jump. So I would definitely suggest keeping your head lifted so that you can see that you're not gonna miss the board when we're jumping. So feet are both on the board, head and chest curl up. I'm gonna jump, tuck the knees in, land. Jump, tuck, land. It feels like I'm zipping those thighs up with my lower abs. Three more. Two. Last one. Land. Drawing your right leg straight up to the sky. You can keep your head up or down. We're gonna scissor those legs. So you're gonna jump, grab the left, switch. Jump, grab the right, switch. Jump, switch. Keeping the tail heavy. Keeping that pelvis reaching away from you, as though you're trying to lengthen out your trunk, lengthen out your core. So we're not trying to tuck or imprint, but create space in our bones, create length in the spine from head to tail. Last one, each side. And rest. So this last variation, we're gonna curl the head and chest up one last time. The legs are gonna go straight up to the sky, bend in, and reach out. So you're gonna go up, in, land. Straight up, bend, land. And land. That was a fun way to end the class. Definitely feel my core. Let's do a little hip stretch, crossing one ankle over your thigh, leaning forward, keeping both hips grounded on the mat. Flexing the foot that's across your thigh, stretching into the hip. Let's switch sides. Leaning forward, breathing here. And then we are all through. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the class.